Okay, today we're going to be talking about the one-arm kettlebell snatch. Now the kettlebell snatch is really the end game of ballistic kettlebell drills. It's basically where you're going to end up on the progression. Normally you start off with the swing, then you do some cleans. The snatch is almost a hybrid of both of those. It is an uninterrupted motion of taking a kettlebell from the ground to overhead without any press out. So if you catch it Okay, today we're going to be talking about the one-arm kettlebell snatch. Now the kettlebell snatch is really the end game of ballistic kettlebell drills. It's basically where you're going to end up on the progression. Normally you start off with the swing, then you do some cleans. The snatch is almost a hybrid of both of those. It is an uninterrupted motion of taking a kettlebell from the ground to overhead without any press out. So if you catch it here and then press it out, that wouldn't count as a snatch. If you catch it here and then press it, that's a clean and press. So a snatch is going to look like this. Okay, now with the kettlebell snatch, we're going to go more for repetitions. We can be explosive as well. In fact, I like to do explosive kettlebell snatches. I like the double kettlebell snatch, really explosive, getting into moderate reps, 5, 6 for lots of sets. But with kettlebells, we want to be more fluid, so we don't want to tense up the body at all. You shouldn't have any tension whatsoever. When I grab the bell, I'm just going to put my thumb and index finger around, and that's just going to allow me to hook it in. So even here, I'm not crush gripping it. This is a mistake a lot of people make. They try to squeeze the handle as hard as they can, and then they try to swing it overhead, and it's not going to go anywhere. Remember, you can't use maximum tension and also execute maximum speed. So we only want to use enough tension as necessary to get the job done. Now when we're using a moderate kettlebell, like for example right now, 62 pounds, this is nothing for me. So I don't need to use any tension whatsoever. So again, it's going to be that hook grip, just 2 fingers holding it into place. Just going to swing it back, take it overhead. Now as you can see, watch my toes in the next rep. I like to come up on my toes because that allows me to extend further. It allows me to finish the hip drive. Otherwise you can have kind of a premature hip drive like that, and then the extension is not going to be there. So I like to extend all the way through, and you can just see the bell literally flies overhead when I do it that way. Now another thing is, and I learned this from my friend Kim Blackburn, is basically coming up on the same foot that's on the same side as the kettlebell. So if I'm going to snatch this kettlebell in my left hand, my left foot is going to come up with it. The timing has to be perfect for this. Just like in life, when you approach the snatch, if the timing is not perfect, well, you're just not going to get into the snatch. So if you want to get into it with maximum comfort, the timing has to be there. So again, kick it, kick it. Now one other thing here is we want to make sure that we keep the bell connected to us for as long as possible. The further the bell gets away from us, the less control we have. So if I'm trying to swing the bell away and take it overhead, right here it's already fairly far away from me, and that's going to be very difficult for me to counterbalance. This is why a lot of people have back pain when they do lots of repetitions of swings and snatches, because their back is taking the full load of it. Now here's how we correct that. First thing you do is just practice this motion. See how my tricep is still connected to my midsection? So if I want to go into a snatch, I just kick it off my upper body. So stay connected, and then kick it off your upper body. So just like with pressing, we want to launch the bell off. With snatching, we want to stay connected and then launch it off our upper body. Okay, last thing, and I learned this from Andrew Durniat, one of the best kettlebell lifters in America, a great guy. Check him out at durniatstrength.com. What Andrew likes to, analogy he uses is, you're literally throwing the kettlebell overhead. So again, you use that hook grip, and then you throw it up, slide your hand through. Okay, so you're going to throw it up, slide the hand through. Literally throw it, slide. Steve Cotter did a great clip on this. Check him out on Facebook. Go to Steve Cotter, and he has a great teaching technique of basically when to slide your hand through on the snatch. And again, timing is important. What we want to avoid is this. The flop, bam, bangs up our wrist. And I've seen people do this in high repetitions, and you are just asking for some serious pain, if not a fracture. You can really mess up your forearm. So again, there should be no impact. the bell should literally kiss your forearm at best. That should be the full blunt of the impact. You throw it up, slide your hand through. Throw it up, slide. Throw it up, slide. The bell starts here at the bottom of my fingers, at the edge. That's the starting point. And then it's gonna finish here at the base of my hand. And it's gonna be at a 45-degree angle, ideally. So again, slide it through. See where the bell is at a 45-degree angle? Throw it up, slide. All right. Breathing mechanics is, I like to breathe in as I throw it overhead, breathe out as I lower. Many people like to do the reverse, where they breathe with the effort. Some people like to do basically a half breath, and then another breath at the top. It can become very complicated. It really depends on your goals. If you're going for 10-minute sets to build up endurance or compete in the kettlebell sport, then all of these technique things become very important. Your breathing, the amount of effort, body mechanics, it's all very important. When you're doing lower repetitions and you're more explosive, you can really focus on using maximum energy. So if I'm trying to build up explosive power, I'm gonna do more 5 repetition sets, and it's gonna look more like this. Okay, now that's not gonna last. You're not gonna be able to last for 10 minutes training that way, or even 20 repetitions. You're gonna wear yourself out fast. So if I want to last, 5-10 minutes, if I don't want to be a 1-minute man or a minute man, you want to have some real functional strength that carries over to fun stuff, that's gonna be more fluid. Almost lazy. Let the bell fall, kick it up, let the bell fall, kick it up, let the bell fall, kick it up, let the bell fall, and kick it up, right? I'm gonna be able to last much longer. So think about what you're training for. Think about what the goal is. You're not really kettlebell training unless you're doing the kettlebell snatch. Everything else is just foreplay. The kettlebell snatch is where it's at. So work hard and you'll be able to get into the snatch.